Ever wonder about a game-changing jet in aviation? Meet the British Harrier, born in the 1960s. With unique abilities to take off from short runways and carriers, it was a pioneer. Facing obsolescence by the 1980s, the U.S. Marine Corps joined forces with British Aerospace and McDonnell Douglas. The result? The rebirth of the Harrier as the American AV-8B Harrier II, with better aerodynamics, a powerful engine, and advanced weaponry, ready to dominate the skies. Let's explore this remarkable journey. During the Cold War, Harrier jump jets demonstrated British engineering, which was crucial in the West standoff with the Soviet Union. It was conceived in 1959 and became the first fully operational STOL jet, capable of vertical takeoff and landing. This innovation enabled it to run from diverse platforms, giving a tactical advantage over potential Soviet threats. Nevertheless, the original Harrier had several constraints, including limited range and payload. To overcome these shortcomings, the U.S. Navy proposed a second-generation Harrier. Working with British Aerospace and McDonnell Douglas, the U.S. military sought to maintain Harrier's advantages while enhancing range and payload. This coalition wanted to establish a new age of Harrier warplanes for the U.S. service and cutting-edge aviation combat platforms. Right now, everything was in place for Harrier II to make its appearance. Using the upgraded Pegasus 15 engine, the official development project started in 1973, with the goal of tripling the payload and extending the range of the original Harrier. It became clear after less than 2 years that the project would be far more difficult than initially anticipated. The British government pulled out of the project in 1975 because of financial difficulties and the RAF's low demand of 60 aircraft. Later that year, the project was abandoned because the U.S. refused to provide funding for its whole. However, the American and British industries persisted in seeking improvements to the Harrier independently, unwilling to give up on the potential concept. Hawker Siddeley concentrated on a new, bigger wing, while McDonnell Douglas created an aircraft specifically for the U.S. Marines. Due to McDonnell Douglas's persistence and the ongoing necessity for a Harrier successor, the U.S. Department of Defense authorized continuing development work in 1976. McDonnell Douglas upgraded 2 Harrier AV-8As, resulting in the YAV-8B prototype, which first flew in November 1978. Flight testing indicated more drag than anticipated, but positive payload, range, and VSTOL performance outcomes. This led to a development contract won in 1979 for the procurement of 12 aircraft. With subsequent testing demonstrating the capability of the upgraded Harrier, the U.S. bought 324 more aircraft. However, between 1978 and 1980, the U.S. Department of Defense and the U.S. Navy attempted to cancel the AV-8B program many times, owing to budget problems. Nonetheless, in 1981, the program received an unexpected boost when British Aerospace re-entered the project as a subcontractor, drawn by the reduced cost of a big production run and the fact that the U.S. was covering development expenditures. The two corporations intended to produce 400 Harrier IIs, with the USMC acquiring 336 and the RAF acquiring 60. 4 full-scale development aircraft were built, the first of which flew on November 5, 1981. After a long and arduous development process, the AV-8B Harrier II that was coming into being proved to be an amazing subsonic attack aircraft with its unique design and groundbreaking technology. The Rolls-Royce Pegasus turbofan engine, with 2 intakes and 4 synchronized vectored nozzles, provides the Harrier II's vertical takeoff landing capabilities. This distinctive nozzle arrangement makes it different from other traditional fixed-wing aircraft and permits better handling at low airspeeds. The Harrier II has a centerline fuselage and 6 wing hardpoints, which allow it to carry 9,200 pounds of armament consisting of missiles and bombs. The aircraft has 7,500 pounds internal fuel capacity with aerial refueling capability that provides its maximum ferry range of 210 miles and fighting radius of at least 300 nautical miles, which is more than 100 miles from its predecessor. Major structural and aerodynamic modifications are featured in the Harrier II design that has a totally new airframe. The Harrier II has a higher cockpit, one-piece supercritical wing, and makes considerable use of carbon fiber composites, which leads to better visibility, cargo capacity, and lower total weight. The cockpit has a large cathode ray tube multi-purpose display, which delivers vital information to the pilot, including radar warnings and weapon delivery checklists. The Harrier II is significantly easier to fly than its predecessor, thanks to the hands-on throttle and stick control, as well as improved designed lateral stability. The Harrier II is also available in a wide range of variants, such as the Night Attack Harrier and the Harrier II Plus, that has upgraded avionics including forward-looking infrared cameras and APG-65 multi-mode pulse Doppler radar systems. These upgrades allow the aircraft to use advanced beyond visual range missiles, which are essential for modern warfare. Lastly, the tough development of Harrier II was worth it as an engineering achievement that evolved from its original form into more powerful and versatile aircraft. Its design, advanced avionics, and state-of-the-art weapons make it a tough adversary. On December 12, 1983, the Marine Attack Training Squadron 203 at Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point received the first production AV-8B aircraft. From August 1984 to March 1985, the AV-8B Harrier II underwent a rigorous operational review before taking to the skies. A specialist crew of pilots and maintenance people pushed the aircraft to its limits, putting it through the most extreme combat circumstances. Finally, on January 17, 1991, the AV-8B entered combat for the first time in the Gulf War. An appeal for air help against Iraqi artillery prompted the Harrier to enter the conflict. The aircraft's abilities in the skies over Kuwait would become legendary in the coming days. During the battle, 86 AV-8Bs completed 3,380 flights and 4,100 flying hours, with a mission availability rate of more than 90%. The Harrier II's lethal accuracy proved critical during the battle. Years later, during Operation Allied Force in the skies above Yugoslavia, the AV-8B proved its effectiveness once more. Harriers from the 24th and 26th Marine Expeditionary Units flew through the sky, continuously pounding targets and providing close air support to coalition forces. The aircraft also continued to glow during the Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. As a part of the 15th and 26th MEUs of USMC, Harrier IIs screamed into action, dropping fire on enemy positions, providing much-needed support to ground forces. The powerful targeting systems fitted on the aircraft made it possible for night missions to be undertaken with high accuracy. Further, about 1,000 sorties were undertaken during the Iraq War, mainly to support USMC ground troops. The ability to provide 24-hour support while operating from forward arming and refueling points caused the aircraft significant praise by USMC leadership. Years later, the Harrier II would be used in Libya during Operation Odyssey Dawn, where USMC AV-8Bs enforced the UN no-fly zone with devastating precision. International operators. The aircraft's unparalleled adaptability enabled it to take part in a wide range of military actions, from major battles to humanitarian missions. In recent years, the Harrier II has proven to be an invaluable asset to other global entities. In the late 1980s, 2 TAV-8B and 16 AV-8B Plus were bought by the Italian Navy. Alenia Aeronautica then manufactured Harriers domestically from U.S. kits. Italian Harriers were used for different operations, including combat missions in Kosovo and Libya. They were able to carry modern armaments, such as AIM-120, AMRAAMs, and Joint Direct Attack Munition-Guided Bombs. The Italian Navy's AV-8B will be replaced by 15 F-35B as part of the Cavour Air Wing. Spain, another AV-8B user, ordered 12 aircraft in the year of its introduction. They were finally promoted to the Plus level and could now transport more advanced weapons. Thus, Spanish Harriers implemented the UN-imposed no-fly zone over Bosnia and Herzegovina. However, they did not join the 2003 Iraq War. Although the initial intention was to replace Harrier IIs with F-35B, Spain extended their service life due to budget limitations. The AV-8B Harrier II has a bright future ahead of it because the plane performs very well in terms of performance and agility, while also retaining its legendary combat ability. Although some air forces will replace it with fifth-generation fighters, the Harrier II's contribution to aviation history and affordability ratios make them relevant for many years.